Assalamu alaikum children. Today we begin with our term 2 syllabus, and the first lesson that we are going to do is climbing Everest. I'm sure you all are familiar with the word Everest, which is the highest mountain, one of the highest mountain of the world. Let's begin. On May 23rd, 2001, a class 8 student's dream became a reality when at 7:04 a.m. he stepped on the summit. Summit means the peak of the highest mountain peak in the world. Temba Seri was just 16 years and 32 days old. He became the youngest mountaineer to scale the mighty Everest. Scale means to climb, to reach the top. During the brief 10 minutes at the top, Temba savored his triumph and gazed on all below him. Enjoyed his triumph, reached the top. He posed. Posed means gave a pose for the customary photograph. Customary, obviously, since he had reached the top, that was something very obvious that he would like to keep a record of that. So it was customary, it was normal to take a photograph. And then began the descent. Descent means to come down, to climb down. Growing up in the shade of Mount Gauri Shankar, in the beautiful and lush mountain valley of Rolwaling, young Temba was exposed to tales of adventure. Hordes of sturdy men, who are sturdy, strong men, of the mountains who join expedition groups. Expedition, going on an adventure, groups recount their climbing seasons. March to May and October to November. Women and young children remain at home while men join expedition groups. The amazing experiences of those men in the high Himalayas stimulated the imagination of Temba. Stimulated, made him sharp, active, and aroused his feelings, the imagination of the young lad Temba. Temba attended a village school that was a day's walk from the village. How far was his school? It was a complete day's walk from his village. He and his younger brother, Nima Naru, would help their mother plant potatoes or graze the cattle, graze to take them to eat grass on the meadows, while their father and elder brother would be away for days at a stretch. That means continuously. For days at a stretch means for many days. Accompanying going along with those who went for trekking groups. Then the family moved to Kathmandu in quest of better schooling, in search of better schooling for the youngsters. Temba, the 16-year-old, joined a basic mountaineering course and set his mind on his life's ambition. Eagerness to do something in life that one wants to fulfill in life. That is the ambition. And his ambition, Temba's ambition, was to scale the Everest. That is to reach the top, the summit. For 3 years, the close-knit Sherpa family. What do you mean by close-knit? Very closely attached family was caught up in Temba's dream of becoming the youngest person to climb the highest peak. Now, the entire family, which were very close to each other, you can say that they were very much attached to each other, close-knit. And it became the dream of the entire family to become, their family also wanted Temba to become the youngest person to climb the highest peak. Climbing from the south side, the previous spring season, Temba was forced to turn back just 50 meters short of the summit. Now, there were difficult stages, moments in Temba's life when he was attempting to scale the mountain. Once, when he had reached almost close by and only 50 meters of distance was left to reach the peak, he had to turn back. And why did he have to turn back? Owing to bad weather, because of bad weather, and 5 frost-bitten fingers. What is frost-bitten? When the weather is extremely cold, the fingers become numb, as if they are no longer part of the body. They become numb. They do not move easily and they just become like dead skin. And what he had, because of the bad weather, extreme weather, he had 5 frostbitten fingers. He later lost them in an operation. Oh, how sad. The poor boy at a stage had to lose his fingers because he had to be operated in a Kathmandu hospital. But the ill-prepared attempt of 2000 taught the lad a serious lesson. Now, they are also giving us a background of different people who attempted to climb this mountain, that the experiences were not properly endorsed, that is, they were not properly mentioned on paper, paperwork was not done, proper information was not given. But by this mistake or drawback, Temba learnt a serious lesson. And what was that lesson? Climbing the highest mountain peak was not child's play. It was not a matter of kids' play. It required focus. You had to be serious and focus on your task. Tremendous willpower. And what else did he require? He required a lot of willpower and a strong support group. And he needed people who would be around in the form of a group. He needed a strong support of those men as well. There was no dissuading the young boy. Nothing could make him lose his heart or drop his idea. He still wanted to have a go. He was determined. Nothing could stop him from trying that. His father, Chowa Sherpa, accompanied the boy, that means went along with the boy, on both occasions as expedition kitchen staff, one who would make food for him on the way. He carried the gear to the higher camps. What is a gear? A hamper or a bag in which all the important, necessary, required things are kept. And especially gear here means different gadgets, different things that one requires for the climbing of the mountain. So his father went with him as a kitchen staff who would prepare food for him, plus he also carried the gear. The important things for climbing are required, such as rope and many other things. A mammoth task in the oxygen rarefied, a difficult task in a place where oxygen was less. Rarefied atmosphere of the peaks. The higher the altitude, the lesser the oxygen supply becomes. He went through his own private ordeal. Ordeal means difficult time. Ordeal each time he watched his young son disappear behind the mountains. Yes, of course, when his young son, while climbing, would go behind the mountains and would not be able to see him clearly, that really worried him a lot. Temba's mother, Lakpadiki, spent 6 weeks in anxiety. Anxiety, distress, she was disturbed, she was anxious to know the welfare of the child. While Temba, his father, and his elder brother, Mingma, Sering Sherpa, were away in the mountains. Naturally, when both the sons and the father was away on the mountains, the lady of the house would be very disturbed and anxious. At his triumphant homecoming, on the day he reached the top, he scaled the mountain. That was a great triumph, great success. And when he was returning after his great success, Temba received an overwhelming reception. Overwhelming, remarkable. A lot of excitement was there. Reception. People received him. His family received him with great happiness. And from his family, also his friends and admirers. The accolades coming the way of this brave schoolboy were many. He broke the record of Bertrand Roche, a French climber who reached the summit at the age of 17. That was in 1990. Roche was the first to congratulate the boy. Roche was at the base camp. What is a base camp? A camp A base camp is a camp made at the bottom of the mountain from where they begin their journey, their climb, where a temporary camp is prepared and few people are stationed there, and that becomes the base camp. Roche was at the base camp after setting a record. He and his wife Claire, members of the International Tibet Everest Expedition 2001, successfully paraglided from the summit. Paraglided, they glided in a parachute, not actually a parachute, it could be a parachute, it could be another way of paragliding, from the summit to the base camp in a record 8 minutes. Temba, who was at 7,000 meters, got a glimpse of the couple as they wove their way. They made their way down in the wind. He was preparing for his final ascent. That was the last climb he had to make to the mountain peak. Shortly afterwards, the young boy had made his tryst with destiny. That means he fought the destiny. He challenged his luck and reached the top of the mountain.